This will just be a basic white bread. It's just a great thing to start off, test the machine, make sure it works, to give you an idea how it works. You really probably don't need a manual for this. Most recipes which you find on the internet will tell you what cycle to use on your bread, usually sweet bread or white bread. Some of them will ask for cycles that this machine doesn't have, such as cake. I don't know if this can do things like that. I've yet to find one that uses the French bread setting, but as I understand it, that just adds some extra heat towards the end to give it a crispier crust. But what we're just going to make today is just some basic white bread. Just make sure you hit the menu button until you do just white bread. We're not going to use manual, we're going to use this to bake it, which we usually do. Over here on this side there's a crust control, baking control. You can put it from light to dark. I usually keep mine somewhere between light and medium. And then over here are the ingredients. This machine requires all the ingredients to be put in a specific order. Wet ingredients first, then dry ingredients, with the yeast going in last. The most important thing, especially if you're using the timer, is that the yeast does not come into contact with any of the water. Since this is dry active yeast, if it gets in touch with the water early, it'll activate early and it will mess up your bread. So let's go ahead and open up the machine. I went ahead and weighed these out earlier to facilitate my one-handedness. Okay, for this basic recipe, we're going to make a medium-sized loaf, which this machine is more than capable of. We're going to start off with 3/4 of a cup of water. Followed by 1½ tablespoons of vegetable oil. Shake. There we go. Follow that up with 1½ tablespoons of sugar. Then half a teaspoon of salt, not a tablespoon, half a teaspoon of salt. The salt and sugar amounts are very important as they both give the yeast energy and control depending upon the sugar and the salt content. Next is going to be 2 1/4 cups of baker's flour, bread flour. There we go. Okay, now for the yeast, make a little pocket in the middle where you know it's going to be dry. Add in the yeast. The machine is ready to go. Go ahead and close it up. After you hit the start button, it's going to start mixing, and it's going to stop. It's still going to be in the dough make cycle. It's going to sit there for a period of time. I think it's about a ½ hour. Then it will go and mix it again, although that time it'll actually be kneading the dough. After that it'll go into the fermentation cycle, then the baking cycle, then it will beep, then it will go into the cooling cycle. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. Okay, well, the bread finished baking 5 minutes or so ago, and it's on the cooling cycle. I'm going to go ahead and take it out a little bit early. It's been humid lately, so we don't want to get any condensation on the inside where the bread is. Looks pretty good. It's the first time I made a loaf of this particular size. Everything seems good. Pan is cooled enough that I can touch it. Makes it easy to take it out. Just going to pull up. Slide this back under here for now. Just turn it over and pat it out. The paddle will be in the bread. There we go. Everything is actually looking pretty good. Nice crust, not burned. Top feels springy. Doesn't feel doughy, like there's a ball of dough in there. Let's cut into it. See? Okay, if you're going to cut into warm bread, you're going to want to have a bread knife or a heavy serrated knife. A regular straight knife with the bread this warm will just compress it. Let's take a look here and see how we did. Feels good. Nice crust. Not too thick, not too dry. Survey says, wow, that's just awesome. Looks like it might even be the perfect size for the toaster. Huh. Let's take a look at that. It gets a lot easier to cut once it cools. Look at that. There we go. Well, there's a slice of fresh homemade bread ready to go into the toaster, and a little bit of butter on it. Tasty. Well, I hope anybody who has a DAK auto bakery has gotten the basic gists of it. Now most people think it's broken because after that mixes the ingredients, it still says it's making the dough, and everybody assumes that after the first mix it's the kneading, but actually that's the second part of the process. So yeah, next time we'll make some cinnamon raisin bread. Enjoy.